Hi guys, and welcome to God's Girl.
Your love introducing me so I can leave the past behind. Feels like a new thing.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's Asosa Saige and I'm in first year. So basically, and obviously I'm Christian, this video is gonna be about why I decided to start this channel. I'd also just like to say God bless you all. Okay, so the reason I started this channel, obviously basically because God told me to, but I'll explain like how I got there. So obviously I really wanted to come to Loughborough, like when I was looking at unis and stuff. Well, at first when I had heard about the uni, like I wasn't really that interested because someone was like, oh, the boys girl ratios, this, and I was like, so are there like no girls at the uni kind of thing. But no, so I wasn't really looking like at Loughborough really. I was looking at other unis, but I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. So when I decided, okay, I'm going to try and I did business, A-level business, fine art and psychology, and my art teacher would always tell me like, oh, like uni. I think she came to Loughborough, so we were looking at unis. Didn't really look at Loughborough like that, and then when I said I wanted to, I was like, okay, Loughborough. I had looked at like Loughborough, Leeds, other unis, Southampton, and some other unis. But those are kind of like my top 3. But anyway, so I came to look at Loughborough, and like I came with my mom, and we just like loved it, and it was really just like everything I wanted really in like the university I was going to. So then from like the day I came to look at it, which was like November 2023, 23, I like was really like looking forward to like, you know, coming to the uni and stuff. I hadn't gotten an offer yet. Even like how I got my offer, like, oh my gosh, like that story is long, because I remember I waited quite a while to hear back from them, so I was already kind of like, what's going on, like, well. But then obviously like at some point they did send me an email asking for me to like do a design task and everything, and I did that, and then I got an offer, thank God. So really, God helped me, because yeah. But I literally would obviously pray like quite a lot. I'd pray to God to really like, please help me get into Loughborough, everything, like I don't know. So basically there was a day that I was like, okay, that I should write down like a promise to God. Listen, I'll tell myself, guys, but write a promise to God. And I was like, okay, so I wrote like 2 things. I wrote something, and then under I wrote, I'll start posting about God more. I mean, I already posted Bible verses on my story, and like just really post about God on my story. If I saw a video, maybe I'd repost it on my story kind of thing, but never like me talking on my story. Only like once on TikTok, but that was like in 2020 really. So yeah, I was like, okay, God, that I will start posting about you more. And obviously in my head, when I thought posting about you more, it was giving like TikTok, YouTube. But when I wrote it, I purposely didn't write TikTok and YouTube, because I was like, maybe I'll just continue posting Bible verses and like just post more like each day or something. So obviously still praying to like for results day and everything coming up, and then results day comes and I got in. Obviously I'm happy, I'm thanking God, everything. Obviously in my head I'm thinking like, I still remember what I've written down, but I had just taken it as, oh, I'll just post Bible verses more and everything, So I get to uni, and obviously I'm posting Bible verses, everything. But then there are those days where it will just kind of cross my mind like, oh, like start a Christian YouTube channel or TikTok page, and then I kind of be like, God, and then I'd brush it off, you get? And I was just like, don't know if I want to, like, first of all, it was like, oh, what do I even talk about, like what do I say and stuff. And like, to be fair, I actually do love like editing videos and stuff, but like to actually post it on YouTube, I was like, God, like I don't know, kind of things. Every time it would come to mind, like I just kind of brush it off and be like, oh, like it's probably just me like thinking like whatever. But obviously, like at the back of my mind, when it comes to my mind, I will still remember what I had written during summer before I got my results. So fast forward to some days ago, over a week ago basically, I was watching I live in London, so I was watching my church in London online because I watch it in the mornings on Sunday. So I was watching it, and then I don't know, even before that I was talking to one of my friends about how like sometimes like I have this like thoughts to like start a Christian YouTube channel and stuff, but I had never really like, I don't know, I just hadn't started it, which I probably should have started it a while ago. So I then watched church on Sunday before, which was like over a week ago, and they were just talking about like ceilings, like not limiting yourself or limiting God, because obviously like God can do anything really, and like obviously if I'm like living for him, I shouldn't then just limit my mind to, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Obviously with God all things are possible, and in Philippians 4:13 it says I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So why would I start like, you know, thinking, oh, I can't do that, like it's scary. In fact, something I'm working on right now is my confidence, because our confidence comes from God, and surely like we shouldn't then let other people's opinions of us limit us. Do you get what I mean? Like you're not too scared to do something because you're scared what people are going to think of you. But in like Galatians 1:10 it says that if I was trying to gain the approval of people, then I'm not a follower of God. Wait, let me find it. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, obviously I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I will not be Christ's servant. So it's like, if I'm trying to please people and not doing what God told me to do, then like what am I doing? Do you get what I mean? Because it's like, realistically at the end of the day, the only person's opinion who matters of you is God. When you get to heaven, it's God you're facing, not these people. Do you get what I mean? So at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Like there's a human being like you, so there's no reason to be scared of people. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, imagine getting there and God's like, why didn't you do this? And you're like, oh, I didn't do what you told me to do because I was scared that this person was going to say this about me, or this person was going to say that about me, or I was scared like people would think, oh, what are they doing? Like when you're not saying it to God, when you're there in that moment, you probably not be feeling like, even like think about what you're saying and you're like, wait, I actually sound really silly right now, because it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter what other people think of you. It only matters what God thinks of you. So it's like, why would I then sacrifice something that God has for me due to the opinions of others? Because surely like everything God told you, God won't tell you to do something that's going to like harm you. If anything, what God is telling you to do is for your good, because he has a perfect plan for your life. So I just feel that yeah, being obedient is really important. But yeah, also this is the NLT version. Wait, why did I look? I know that. This is the NLT version of my Bible. And also about my confidence. Yes, I said I've been working on my confidence recently. So I bought this devotional by Joyce Meyers, I think that's how you say her name. And it's called, but yeah, so basically yeah, I'm obviously we're in February right now, so I'm on February 17th, so I'm currently reading that. I've also been reading this book. I bought this in year 12, but like I've been reading it quite gradually because surely I should be done by now. But it's called The Power of a Praying Woman, and that's the book. Just kind of forget the book. Yeah, I'll put the link for two of them, like, oh my gosh, that was actually crazy, in the link, my bio below. Yeah, so yeah, I will put the links for both of those there. So what was I even saying? So So yeah, I was like, oh, every time like he'd tell me to do it, I was like, oh God. So obviously when I watched church, it was like, oh, like you shouldn't limit yourself. Basically it was like talking about like no ceilings, like basically like you can do anything, like don't limit yourself. Okay. And so after church, I'm like, the YouTube thing comes back to mind, and I'm like, oh God, you've called me to do like oh, I'm also Nigerian, like that's why. Anyway, so like God, you called me. I'm not thinking like, okay, like God, if you really want me to do this YouTube / TikTok thing and like start these accounts, that please give me a sign. I like asking God for a sign because like I don't know, yeah, it just helps me really, and like he actually answers. So what I do is like usually I choose a random, depending on what it is, I choose like random letters. Then I have the different options for each one, but obviously they're all mixed up and everything. And I pray, and most times I ask my mom, my cousin, and maybe like a friend or two, like just to pick a letter randomly. So I could pick like I could ask like 2-3 people to pick a letter, and if I get 2 of the same thing out of the 3, then obviously that's the answer, kind of thing. So that's kind of what I do. And like there's other times I'd be like, oh God, like if I see this like in the next 5 minutes, but not something obvious, like something I don't know, like yeah, like oh God, if I see what color is not really, if I see a yellow car in like the next 30 seconds, I always make sure that it's like, I won't say 5 minutes, because if 5 minutes, okay, back. So yes, I asked God for signs. So basically what I did that day was that I chose M and O. So M was no, N was yes, and O was not yet. So I asked my mom, my cousin, and my friend. I pray, I'm like, God, I'm gonna ask these 3 people, and then I got 2 yeses and 1 not yet. So I was like, oh my gosh, there are 2 yeses. And the thing is, I just found it quite crazy because there were 3 options there, 3 different people, and 2 of them happened to pick the same answer, which was yes. So I was like, okay, like I guess I'm starting this YouTube channel / TikTok account, right? So so obviously I'm just thinking about that. I go to church on Sunday, and I promise you, like, oh, I actually really like my church here. Also, I go to Open Heavens. Yeah, so I watch my church in London online in the mornings, and I go to church in the evenings in Loughborough. So basically, yeah, church that Sunday was actually really good. Like I really enjoyed myself, and God like was really speaking to me. That whole day was like, that day was just crazy really. But yeah, I get to church, like the worship's good, everything's good, and then someone, like the person next to me, prayed for me and everything. I needed that for real. And then in church that Sunday, they were talking about obedience. Obedient, guys, I promise you, I'm not lying. Like when I tell you that, I was actually in shock, because I was like, God had just told me to do this YouTube thing, and obviously I'm like, and then now talking to me about obedience. So I'm not like, bro, like please let me, be obedient. So I didn't write that much that Sunday, but I did take some notes. Okay, so basically the title was Hear and Obey, right? So basically just talking about how like we're called to be disciples, and how I was just writing down something to myself, like how I need to like consistently spend time with God, and like make sure I try and stay consistent in reading my Bible every day, and actually sitting down and spending time with God. So not just sitting down and reading my Bible and like, okay, I go out my day and then I just like don't think about God or anything. So if I only really listen to gospel music, like Christian music, so like Christian rap and worship, and really and truly it does make me feel better, makes me feel good, and just reminds me that God is with me and that I'm never alone, basically. Because obviously being in uni by yourself, I mean, I have friends here. I'm really grateful to God that I have friends who came to the same uni as me. But like being like alone at uni, like you're not surrounded by your family, you're not I was in boarding before, you're not like in boarding with your friends, where like you could just go to your friend's room like across the hall, or like if like even having like a roommate and stuff, you're literally by yourself. And obviously like as a Christian, I know that I'm never alone because God is with me. So it's just reminding myself that God is with me and I am not alone in this, really. So yeah, just about obedience. Something that she said that really stuck with me, that I've literally been going around telling my friends this, because I'm like, bro, it's true, is that obedience is more important than image. So what I'll keep saying about not limiting yourself, you have to be obedient to God, because at the end of the day, like, it is more important than image. Bro, God be speaking factual. Obviously, like, you can imagine like the shock on my face when on the screen it was like hear and obey, after he had told me earlier in the day that okay, you're gonna start this YouTube channel. So yeah, that's basically what happened, really. And so yeah, here we are now, and that's basically the story of how this came about. So I don't know, it had just been in my mind, and then obviously a week and a half ago, actually a week and like a day ago, that's when God like confirmed the whole thing. But that's the story of how this started. Why do I follow God? Why do I follow Christ? Honestly, I grew up in a Christian household. I've always like believed in God and Jesus, and I guess I follow the morals and stuff. I don't know, like I followed Christ since I was young, really. But I feel like as you get older, like you start to like understand how deep, well, as I was getting older, I started to understand how deep it actually was and everything. And I think it was in like 2020, like late 2020, that I like really deeped how deep it was. Because I feel like before then, maybe when I was in secondary school, I kind of like knew how, like, you know, but 2020, that really, you know, was when I was like, it's deep. I follow God because of who he is, really. Because I feel like it's not only about what God can do for you, but just who he is. Like, he created us, he loves us, he sent his one and only son to die for us, John 3:16. And him sending his only son for us, like, to die on the cross, his only son. When you actually deep it, like, imagine having a son and you decide that to save other people, to save the world, to save the world, you have to give up your child. Like, when you actually deep it, do you know how hard that would be for me to give up my own son, kind of thing? So obviously, like, when you actually think about how deep that actually is, it's like, well, like, he actually sent his only son to die for me. It's not like, bro, like, for me, because obviously, like, we're all sinners, we've all done things we're not proud of, said things we're not proud of, kind of thing. So it's like, the fact that you've done some stuff and God still loves you, it's like, wow, like, you really do love me. Because in John 3:16, she says, I think this is the NIV version, but for God to love the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. His one and only son. Imagine only having one son, one child, and that's your son, and giving him up for other people. Like, people, like, for us it'll be like people you don't even know, because it's just like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me, really. But yeah, so I think it's just, I follow him because of who he is. He's the Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. He's always with us, and like, he loves us, and everything that he does is out of love for us. So I think it's really just like looking at everything God has done in my life and done for my family, my friends. Like, I don't know, there's just some experiences I've had that, like, you can't tell me that he's not real. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, really, but yeah, like, he's real, guys. He's real. And I feel like also, like, praying is actually really important, because, like, I feel like when you actually sit down and spend time with God and you pray, like, you actually do feel at peace. And it's just like, spending time with God, when I spend time with God, I know that it helps me calm down. Like, I don't know, because obviously, you know, had a long day, everything, and like you're just thinking like, oh, like my day was okay, nothing too like crazy, or like, you know. And then I get back, read my Bible, and just like reading it, like I'm just like, wow, God, because there's so many things that God touches on in the Bible that's like obviously really important for us to read, because the Bible is literally like a manual for human beings. Like literally everything that you need to know, God touches on it in the Bible, like on how to live your life, really. And I don't know, I just really love that and love God. But yeah, I follow him because of who he is, really. And obviously he's done a lot of things in my life that I'm really grateful for. And like, yeah, so yeah, in fact maybe I will even, in another video I'll talk about like my testimony on like how I got into uni, like just the process of like me trusting in God to get me into the uni that I wanted to go to, really. Because bro, guys, the way I was praying, I was like, bro, God please help me, because I felt like, I don't know, one of my A-levels I thought it had gone like okay, and then like I don't know, just a bit I don't know, but yeah, but God came through. I thank God, really. But yeah, I feel like most times people might feel like, oh, that like I can't bring this to God, or like, oh, I can talk to God about this, but I can't talk to God about this. But you can literally talk to him about you should talk to him about everything, really, because I mean, to be fair, he already sees what's happening. Like, it's just like he wants us to come to him and tell him and talk to him, obviously, and stuff. And yeah, he does want to know what's happening in our lives, and he does care about what's going on in our lives. So never think that, oh, like this is too small for me to bring to God. Like, he cares about every aspect of our lives, really. So I think it's just really important to know that he's real, he sees you, and he wants you to talk to him, and he wants you to come to him and tell him how you're doing, what you ate for breakfast, how your day is going. Like, literally, it's actually just so nice knowing that like he's there to talk to pray to, and just, yeah, he's our heavenly Father for real. Like yeah. Oh yeah, and the verse that I was thinking of was Matthew 11 verse 28, which says, "Then Jesus said, 'Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest.'" So don't ever feel like, whatever you're struggling with, don't ever feel like, oh, like you can't bring it to God, like you're in it alone. You're not alone. God is with you. Like, literally bring it to him, and he will lift that weight off your shoulders. And if not, surely, like, through whatever you're going through, God has a plan for your life. So don't think that, oh, this has happened to me, so now like the rest of my life is going to be like miserable and horrible. God has a perfect plan for every single one of us, and it's just for us to have faith and keep believing in God and obviously what he can do, because there's nothing he can't do. So whatever you're going through, God is with you, God is by your side, and he cares about you, and he has a perfect plan for you. Back to me starting this channel. Obviously, at first I told you guys I was a bit like, oh God, I don't know if I want to do this. It's not about what I want, it's about what he wants. So here I am. And I can't lie, I'm actually quite excited now. Like, yeah, I can't lie, starting the video was kind of a bit like but I feel like now I've been talking like, so yeah, really and truly, it's really just for us to follow God, be obedient, and do what he's called us to do. This is also the NLT version, Matthew 28 verses 18 to 20. So this is the Great Commission. So I think this is when God was going to go back, well, when Jesus was going to go back to heaven. So this is what he said to his disciples. Jesus came and told his disciples, "I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you, and be sure of this: I am with you always, even to the end of the age. So obviously that's Jesus telling his disciples to go make disciples, more disciples of God's kingdom. And that's literally what he's called all of us to do. As Christians, we should help lead other people to Christ and to God's kingdom. So I know it can be quite scary to kind of like go up to people, not necessarily like go up to people, but like maybe just bring up in a conversation like, oh, like, I mean, sometimes people might be a bit scared to say like, oh, like, how do you, like, you just be thinking, how do I bring up that I'm Christian and stuff. But I think you don't have to like overthink it. Maybe just like if you're talking, like, talk about, oh, how you went to church on Sunday and stuff, and then maybe just ask the person like, oh, like, you know, like, what do you believe in God and stuff like that. And like, I mean, if it's your friend, you can really obviously just maybe just say, oh yeah, like maybe ask them if they want to come to church with you, or like what their thoughts are on like God and faith and everything. And I guess maybe like, yeah, at least like, even if they say like no, like they don't think they want to try it out or anything, like at least you've tried, and like they said no. You never knew, like maybe like some months, some years later, the person might come back to you and be like, oh my gosh, that like that God you were talking about is real, or how they actually want to know more about God. So even if people like say no, then you never know what God has planned for them or planned for you. Because realistically, like even if like they said no, like it's about how you were obedient to God. I think all leads back to obedience, but how you were obedient to God. So obviously, like, even if they say no, at least you were obedient because God wanted you to talk to them. So I think it's just really important to like, don't be scared to share your faith with people, because at the end of the day, you're really just trying to help people and obviously obey God and help him bring more people to his kingdom. But yeah. So guys, I think I've touched on everything that I was meant to in this video. It's been really nice, you know, introducing myself and talking to you guys about why I started this channel and how it came about. But yeah, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. God bless you. God loves you. In fact, maybe I should pray. Okay. Father, Lord God, I just thank you for today. I thank you for the person who's watching this right now. I pray that you will bless them and guide them in all that they do, oh God, and help them to know that they're not alone and that you're with them, oh Lord, and that our obedience to you is really important, and that you care for us, you love us, and you're always there for us, oh God. And I just pray that people will be more open to coming to you with their issues and not feel like they have to struggle alone, but that you are always with them, oh God. I pray you bless everyone watching this right now, and I just pray your perfect will concerning their lives will be done. Amen. Love you guys.
Behind feels like a new thing.